Welcome back, guys. This is King of Weebs here, and this is What If Naruto was Madara's grandson finale. We begin this What If with Naruto actually being in the 2 year time skip where he's actually training with Jiraiya. Jiraiya would be teaching him the Sage mode, and not only just Sage mode, but he'll be training Naruto in everything Taijutsu, Genjutsu, yes, Genjutsu, and also he would. I'm sorry about the coughing, I'm feeling a bit sick. And of course, Naruto would be training quite hard as he wanted to bring back Sasuke to the Leaf Village. He wasn't going to just allow this to slide. He wanted revenge. He was like, nah, fam. And then we would see Naruto training hard as hell. Also Sakura, Hinata, everyone in the Leaf Village, and Naruto would have mastered Sage Mode just like Jiraiya here, and also he would also unlock would release as his cool plot armor, and then of course, we would see Naruto training in most of the 2 years, as he took around no sorry most of the 1 year and a half remaining would release, as Sasuke would have unlocked his Mangekyo Sharingan through just the sheer amount of training that he went through, and also Sasuke would get something new. Yes, not would release or anything. Now, of course, Sasuke would have actually gotten some kind of transplant by Orochimaru, and those would be Kimimari's cells. Kimimari's cells would increase Sasuke's strength to an exponentially, as Kimimaro was a very strong shinobi, like extremely strong, if I'm being honest with you, like, and so over the next he would have gotten that transplant like 3 months into his training, and then of course for the next few years he would train like Kimimaru, and of course Naruto would be training as well, and right now they would be kinda on par because of Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. He doesn't use it too much, but here and there sometimes he just does use the Susanoo, and it's kinda hurting his eyes, but his Susanoo wouldn't just be the rib cage, but it'd be the armored Susanoo at this point in the story. Anywho, now we would see Naruto finish his training with actually gaining some experience by you know doing some missions with Jiraiya as well. And Naruto would also have or learned his no, sorry, learned how to use his what you call it, his I'm at a loss for words. I'll be honest. His would release, and he'd be very OP with it. Like, he wouldn't be no slouch. People would be scared of him. He even made a name for himself. He's no rogue ninja, but still, they call him Naruto, the Toad Sage, as well. The two Toad Sages are two different beings that are. Naruto is on Sani level right now from what people are seeing, but in reality Naruto is much higher than a Kage level fighter. And if you were to fight a Kage right now, he'd probably massacre them, if I'm being honest, because of his pure abilities. Naruto's actually refined his usage with the Sharingan as well. And then anyways, now Naruto would finish his 2 years and a half training, and he'd return to the Leaf Village as a very strong shinobi. He would be very strong, and then people would whisper around them as Naruto walked in. People used to hate Naruto. However, they've seen that Naruto has grown. He seems a lot. Well, the girls are. That's just all over Naruto. They all want, you know, to go out with Naruto at this point. Naruto's like the new Sasuke, but Naruto declines all of them, saying that he's not interested in anyone right now, and it's all a lie because he's actually interested in someone called Hinata. But anyway, now we would go on to see Naruto meet Konohamaru. Konohamaru shows off his, his arrow jutsu. I'm not going to say the thing because I kind of don't want YouTube to strike me. And then Who cares? I'm joking. I won't say it. But we all know it. Sexy jutsu. I mean, it's not really that bad of a word, is it? And then of course, I would see Naruto actually going to the Hokage's office, making a joke about Shikamaru and Tamari going out, making them blush and everything, and then you would see that Naruto would actually meet Sakura as well. Sakura would actually walk in. They wouldn't meet in the village, as Sakura was actually quite busy, and she'd be ecstatic to see Naruto. She wasn't even aware that he was already coming back today. She completely forgot about the date, and she just hugged him and started jumping around. And then Kakashi would actually come out the window or come in through the window saying that, "Yo, you guys ready for the belt test?" And Tanade's like, "It wasn't your time to come in yet, Kakashi." Kakashi's like, "Oh, sorry, my bad. I wasn't listening. I was reading my book." And of course, Naruto would say, "Oh yeah, here you go." As Jiraiya was smiling, Kakashi was in awe of what he was seeing. The new edition of you know Icha Tactics or whatever the name is. Makeout Tactics and everything. Now with an autograph, and he was ecstatic by the news. Now we would go on, stop the trivial things, and we go into the belt test. The belt test here would be taken with someone else. Sai would have joined Team 7 much earlier here, as he was brought out of the Arn booth thanks to the third Hokage. Remember, the third Hokage is still alive here. Sai would greet them with a smile, and Naruto could see straight through it. Sai was faking it. He's not used to smiling or anything, and Naruto's like, you don't have to force a smile. If you don't, if you didn't want to meet us, you didn't have to. And Sai says, oh, I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want to meet you guys, or I didn't want to meet you guys. It's just that I'm not used to really socializing. Naruto was sorry, and he apologized for being rude, thinking that Sai was just faking a smile and everything. And then Sai would say it's okay. He doesn't really mind. It's not really Naruto's fault. And then goddamn. Of course, Naruto and Sakura and Sai would you know do the bell test, and they would pass easily. The three together were actually quite a formidable trio, and they were nothing to be you know uh, they weren't a team to be looked down upon, as they were all very strong. And of course, Naruto and Sakura would congratulate each other, and Sai would join in as well, telling them that they're really strong. And Naruto was really interested in Sai's, Super Beast Scroll. Naruto would spend the day with Sai. Sakura would go back to her training, as she couldn't slack off or anything. And of course, we would see Naruto and, Sai becoming quite good friends, and Sai actually having a much easier time to socialize with Naruto, as Naruto was a really easy and outgoing person. And now, Naruto and Sai, after becoming friends, well, would go home, and pretty much Naruto would go on to wake up the next day to someone knocking at his door, and he would find out about Gaara's kidnapping, or Gaara being taken away by the Akatsuki. And Naruto's like, what? The Akatsuki? What are they doing? And of course, he was confused on why the Akatsuki would be attacking at this point. Gaara, out of all people, he didn't really realize that they needed to go in order of tail beasts. And then Naruto would want to leave the village instantly to go help his friend, but he had to wait for his team. And Sai would join. Sai would tell him he's sorry for his, Gaara, and Naruto's like, it's okay, we're going to save him. And they would go on. Team Guy would actually follow them, as they would leave a bit later, as Naruto was a bit more in a hurry. He couldn't wait for them. He can't afford to wait. Anywho, 3 days later, of course, Temari would join Naruto, as she saw Naruto, blitzing past them. But she saw them blitzing past, and she would actually join in. She's like, what's going on? Why are you guys heading towards the sand? This is the way that you go to the sand. And Naruto tells everything to Temari, as Temari was outside the Leaf Village and outside the Sand Village, and she would be in dismay. She's like, wait, what? Gaara? They've captured him, and pretty much they would go all together. And of course, the Kankuro would be healed by Sakura. It would take a day or so, and pretty much Chio would join in as well, and Naruto and Team Seven would find the Akatsuki hideout. But by this time, Gaara was already dead. And anywho, because they sealed away his tail beast. And anywho, now Shikako sealed away. Gaara was on the floor as Deidara was resting on his body, actually sitting on it, and Naruto was pissed. Naruto's nine tails chakra started boiling. Although he's quite strong and reliable, Naruto still gets pissed off quite easily, especially when this something like this happens to one of his friends. And then now, of course, Deidara would act as a decoy by taking Gaara's body in his clay dragon, and Naruto would follow along. Sai would go along with him, and Sakura tells Kakashi Sensei to go, and Kakashi would oblige, even though he's the leader of the team. He sees Sakura's determination and her. He trusts her. He's been training a lot as well. Just saying. Now, of course, Sakura and Chio would take out her sorcery just per normal, but here the Super Beast Scroll would come in a lot more handier. Sai would create pretty much three golems to actually stop Deidara's path, and Naruto would pretty much yank Gaara away as a well. Kakashi would actually be able to use his Kamui much faster because of all the training he's done with it. Remember, although it's a lot of chakra draining it's quite chakra draining, Kakashi doesn't go blind because this is not really his eyes, so the genetics don't match up, so he won't go blind, and then he whoops half Deidara's body away, and pretty much then Naruto comes in with a Rasengan, but this is no normal Rasengan. This is Scorching Rasengan, which pretty much explodes as he added both wind and fire release to it, and it creates a quite big explosion as Deidara's body burns to ashes. Now Naruto and Team Seven would reunite, and Gaara would be dead, and Chio would give her life up for Gaara's as she knows that these are her final. Well, she already has one foot in the grave, and or one leg in the grave. I'm not sure how they say it, but anyway, now she would perform the jutsu, and she would be running low on chakra, and Naruto would pretty much help out. Saying that if you need chakra, I got plenty of it, and of course, Sakura knows that Naruto doesn't understand what Chio is doing, and he doesn't really blame. She doesn't blame him, and anywho now. Chio would smile at Naruto, telling him that they are the future of the Shinobi world, and she entrusts everything to him. The things that she couldn't do, she wants Naruto and Gaara to be able to do. And Naruto looks at her with a questioning look, and is that why are you saying this all of a sudden? And pretty much Sakura explains to Naruto, Chio is pretty much giving her own life up to save Gaara, and Naruto was like, wait, what? I thought you could just revive him. And of course, Naruto was a bit naive here, I know, but although he's meant to be smart, he's a sage and everything. But anywho, now, and Chio then, laughs a tiny bit and says that it's okay, no need to worry. I mean, I've already got one leg in the grave. I don't have many more years, so this is just an act of kindness from me as an old lady. I can't really do much. And anywho, now Naruto looks at her and says, "You don't. Are you sure about this?" And pretty much Shio says, "If I wasn't sure about it, why would I be doing it?" And of course, in the end, she actually does give up her life for Gaara. And anywho, now. Of course, Naruto is saddened by this, and Gaara is revived. He's happy about that a little bit though. And anywho, now Naruto would return to the Leaf Village, and here, since he's no longer training to master the Rasen since he already has it, not many people know about it. He would, of course, be alerted or asked by Tsunade to help out Team 10, and Naruto's like, "Oh, 100%, mate. I will go. I will help them as much as I can. I will give my life up if I have to." Of course, Tsunade chuckles and says, "I knew I could rely on you, Naruto." Now, Team 10 is asking for support as there are two Akatsuki members they have spotted, not one but two, and this confirmed Naruto's suspicions as he has been spying on some Akatsuki members, and as he realized that most of them do travel in pairs, and he realized that they do missions in pairs pretty much. And now Naruto then gives that information to Tsunade, and Tsunade's like, alright, that's quite useful, but okay, you have to go to help out Team 10, and you just don't have to die. That's all you gotta do. Literally, if it gets too dangerous, run and retreat. Naruto then tells Tsunade, okay, I'll do my best. And then as he says that, Naruto would go on to, oh well, with Team 10, with Team 7. As here, there is no meeting with Sasuke. Oh, sorry. There is a meeting with Sasuke, and the meeting with Sasuke would still happen as per normal, and Naruto actually being paralyzed, as Sasuke's strength was actually quite overwhelming. He wasn't expecting Sasuke to be this strong, as he was holding back a lot back in the days, and Sasuke caught up to him pretty much. That's what he thinks. Of course, that was mostly because he was a bit startled by, Sasuke using bone release. As Naruto was about to walk towards him, he created a bone wall, which Naruto kind of has PTSDs from the fight against Kimimaru, as he was on the verge of death. Remember, if you remember last part, and then of course, Naruto was a bit scarred from that fight, and then of course, that was what paralyzed Naruto in his place, and then of course, Naruto and Sasuke would then part ways again, and Naruto tells Sasuke to that one day he'll return him to the Leaf Village, and Sasuke says, "We'll see about that." And then of course, then we go on to see pretty much Naruto go to help Team 10, and here the fight would be much easier as Naruto would arrive before Team 10 even goes up against Sidon. Uh, Naruto would tell Team 10 to be careful about him as he heard that there is a Jashinist in the Akatsuki, and he heard about what Jashinists can do. By taking one's blood, they can do a ritual where everything they do to themselves, they will go through the same exact pain. And now, of course, Naruto would alert them of this, and here they would be more cautious of getting hit, and Asuma would not be cut. And of course, now that that's done, pretty much Naruto would take on Kakuzu on his own, and Kakuzu would stand no chance against Naruto, if we're being honest, because Naruto is much stronger than Kakuzu right now, and he uses his wood release to pretty much kill Kakuzu. He would still use the Rasenshuriken just to show some of what he's capable of, pretty much, and then of course, then pretty much Kakuzu would actually, in his final words, he would actually compliment Naruto's wood release as he reminds him a lot of the first Hokages, and of course Naruto would smile at him, saying that it's finally time for him to rest. Although Naruto doesn't really like him, he still closes his eyes as Kakuzu dies with his eyes open, and then because he couldn't even close his eyes because of all the injuries he's went through, and then of course we would see Naruto, well, Team 10, especially Shikamaru, pretty much destroy Hidan because Shikamaru created a plan to actually bury him alive, and then of course, the plan would work out, and Team 7 and Team 10 would win. Sai and Sakura and Yamato here. Yamato would be very impressed by Naruto's wood release, as he thought that he was the only one to be able to use it, and then Tsunade already knew because of Jiraiya's earlier letters that he sent to her, also confessing as well and everything, and then of course, Sakura was in awe of Naruto's display of strength, and she knew that the only person to ever be able to use wood release was meant to be like Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, and clearly someone else knows how to use it. And then well, two other people know how to use it. Of course, she doesn't know about Madara Uchiha yet. That he's able to use it somehow. Plot armor. And then uh, we would see Naruto and Team 7 return, and here is where things, Naruto hears about Sasuke killing Orochimaru, being that strong. And Naruto knows that he's quite strong, but he doesn't consider himself stronger than Jiraiya yet. He doesn't. He's never really fought Jiraiya to a fight to the death, and he thought that Sasuke must have fought, Orochimaru to the death and killed him. And anywho, now Orochimaru, oh, sorry, not Orochimaru, Sasuke would still create Team Taka to actually kill Itachi or Team Heavy. I'm not sure, but his team would still be the same as per normal. And anywho, now of course. This wouldn't really change many things in the story, and Sasuke would still go up against Itachi, and pretty much, Itachi would allow himself to die, and of course, Kisame would be there to not allow anyone else other than Naruto, I mean, not Naruto, Sasuke to pass. Naruto actually did try to, go and find Sasuke, and they couldn't find him, and then now. Of course, this kind of made him depressed once he returned to the Leaf Village, and then of course, we would go on to see Orochimaru Sasuke versus Itachi, and Itachi, as I said, he lets himself get killed. Oh, he actually died because of his chakra usage, and it was his final days anyway. Now, of course, now Naruto and Team Seven, oh, not Naruto and Team Seven. Sorry, what am I talking about? Jiraiya would actually, tell Naruto about him knowing that the Akatsuki leader is in the Rain Village, and Naruto says, "Alright, then should we go and you know take him out or something?" And Jiraiya says, "No, I won't be taking you. I'll be going on my own." Naruto says, "No, I won't let you. I know the Flying Raijin, and you know it, and I have a seal on you. Wherever you go, I will always teleport where you are. I won't let you go alone in this mission. This is too dangerous." And then you now, of course, Naruto and Jiraiya would still go together, and pretty much Pain gets kind of wiped. But the only thing that actually makes Naruto and Jiraiya retreat was Pain's usage of well, you know, the planetary devastation. And then now, of course, the planetary devastation was something that you know Naruto and Jiraiya didn't know how to counter. Naruto kind of had his a little well suspicion on how to counter it, but he couldn't be sure about it, and he didn't know that if he actually did fire off the strongest jutsu, the two strongest jutsu that they knew at the center of the planetary devastation would be enough to destroy it. Now, so Naruto pretty much uses Jiraiya and Naruto both use the reverse summoning jutsu and reverse summon themselves into Mount Myoboku as they're quite injured. Pain wasn't an easy fight, and anywho now they know that they could defeat Pain, but if he comes to the Leaf Village and somehow does that, that's a whole different case. Now, they would be formulating a plan, and they wouldn't tell Tsunade much because they did say they'll be out for maybe a month max. If by a month they're not returned, they can consider them as, yeah, dead. However, Pain was much stronger than that. Nagato was resilient and pretty much he healed up. He fixed the well, King of Hell path. I'm not sure what path is that is first out of all of them, and pretty much then fixed all the other ones through that one. Now, Pain within a week would be back at its peak, but not Nagato. Nagato would still be quite tired from using the planetary devastation and not being able to trap them, which was quite the bummer for him. Now, we would see Pain attack the Leaf Village, and of course, a toad that was in the Leaf Village would alert Naruto. Naruto's toad, and Naruto and Jiraiya would summon themselves to the Leaf Village, but once they do, it's too late. Pain has already destroyed the village. Many people are dead. Naruto looks around in awe. His chakra was about to go out of control, but Naruto keeps his calm, realizing that if he does go out of control now, it won't just be the two tails, it won't be the three tails, not the four, not the five, but he knows that the ceiling jutsu that Minato used, or whoever used, the fourth Hokage used. He doesn't know that's his father yet. He's getting weaker. Naruto controls his rage and looks at Nagato, or Pain. His eyes have a slit in it, and the toad sage mode. But this time, the pigment, instead of being orange, it starts turning blue. Naruto's rage unlocked his other sage mode, wood sage mode, something that he didn't even know that he had. Naruto's wood sage mode, well, would be present within him, and he could feel it. He felt a power within him that was completely different, a power that he's never felt before. Naruto asks Jiraiya if is there something different with him. He says that his eyes, the nine tails, and the toads, but the pigment is different. Could that be because of the nine tails? Naruto then says no. It's because of my wood release, my wood sage mode. I can feel it. I can feel it within me, deep within me. There's a power surging, ready to be unleashed. As he says that, he pretty much uses wood release to actually bind the other path, one of the paths of pain, who wasn't able to escape fast enough, and pretty much drain its chakra to make it his own. Then Naruto looks up and throws a Senshuriken at the animal path, which gets saved by the human path mid-air. Now, Naruto would then go on to pretty much destroy the Ashura path within one punch, actually to the gut, and pretty much, blow a hole within him. He would pretty much one shot every single pain except for the last pain. The last pain put up a pretty good fight until Naruto had enough. Naruto looked at that pain and pretty much said, "This is over." As some chakra started boiling up, he pretty much created a Vermilion Rasengan and smashed it into Yahiko's body, not destroying it but still injuring it quite a bit. Naruto would then find Nagato and tell Jiraiya that they have to go and that he has to follow him. Jiraiya follows him to Nagato, and pretty much Naruto would listen to Nagato's philosophy, and of course he'd be saddened that they both went through that kind of pain and they can understand each other. And pretty much he tells him that he can be the savior that of this world. He will change this world for the better. He will pretty much bring peace to the shinobi world. Nagato is happy with Naruto's answer, saying that one day there will be peace, and he trusts Naruto. Even Conan was quite surprised that he allowed it, and then of course, Nagato would revive everyone that he killed in the Leaf Village, and everyone would be revived, even Kakashi. And then Naruto would help out rebuilding the Leaf Village until he heard about Sasuke joining the Akatsuki. Sasuke would still capture Killer Bee, and here Killer Bee would actually barely escape because Sasuke's eyes started losing. No, Sasuke started losing his eyesight. Luckily, that was more than enough for Killer Bee to escape, and then Naruto would still head to the Five Kage Summit. So would Sakura with the rest of the Rookie Nine, and pretty much Naruto would save Sakura. So would Kakashi, and the fight with Naruto and Sasuke would ensue just for a little bit. Sasuke was fully blind at that point, and Toby would tell him, or Madara would tell him that I can show you, you know, a greater power. Come with me. Sasuke accepts and leaves after killing Danzo. Naruto would then actually go. Well, the fourth Great Ninja would be announced, and anywho now Kabuto would still become the Dragon Sage, and anywho what he said, he evolved from a snake into a dragon at this point, and now of course we would go on to see how Naruto would train with Killer Bee, and Killer Bee would help him beat the Narutos. Here he would still meet both his parents, and he would cry to them, asking them if he's done everything wrong, and they would console him, saying that he's done everything he could. And then pretty much, of course, Naruto says that there's this masked guy saying that he's Madara Uchiha, and he declared the fourth Great Ninja War. Both his parents look at each other and pat him on the head, saying that don't worry, that's not the real Madara Uchiha. And right before, and as Naruto looked at them, then pretty much Minato would tell him the whole entire truth. He's Madara's grandson. Naruto would realize everything, and he would smile, saying, "Okay then, alright, I'll fight in this war. I'll bring peace to the shinobi world. That is my ninja way." Anyways, that is what my ninja way is, to never go back on my words. or on my word. And Naruto did give his word to bring peace to the Shinobi world. Now, Madara would still be revived and slapping the five Kage, whereas Naruto pretty much Naruto and Killer Bee take on the with Naruto unlocking KCM2 would take on the other tail beasts except for the One Tails because there was no host for it as a technically well Gaara did die but he's not dead right now, so yeah. Now of course pretty much Naruto would then fight Obito with Killer Bee and well Killer Bee and Kakashi and Guy. And here Naruto would be taking on Obito easily. He would actually break his mask off and Obito would be revealed to the world. And Naruto was trying to talk no jutsu him to return to the Obito that he used to be as he heard of many stories. Well, he heard how Kakashi felt about him during this war. Anyways, now of course, he was Kakashi's friend, and he wants Obito to be, back in the leaf and change the ways that he went through. Madara would join the fight as, the reanimation jutsu, although stopped, Madara was able to break out of it, so his reanimation remained. Now, of course, Naruto and Madara stare each other down, and Madara says, "You've grown a lot, my grandson." Everyone would be in shock. Sasuke, no, not Sasuke, Kakashi would be like, Naruto, what? Madara's grandson? What? Wait, that means it couldn't have been Kushina. Minato sensei, and pretty much, of course, Naruto then says, Grandfather, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't view the world as you do. I view them from a different perspective. I know you've gone to the dark. I know you've turned into a dark, well, turned the dark, well, took the dark path, and then now Naruto and Madara and Obito would begin a fight, and Naruto would have the upper hand the whole time. The whole time Naruto would have the upper hand. Doesn't matter if Madara had the Mangekyo, as Naruto unlocked the Mangekyo during his fight against the during the time that he met his parents again. Now, once he actually met his parents again, he actually unlocked his Mangekyo, and his Susanoo would be blue, just like Madara's, but a bit lighter. Well, it'd be basically the Susanoo of the Sage of Six Paths. If you remember the filler flashback, the Sage of Six Paths had a Susanoo just as big as the Ten Tails, but his one was a lighter shade of blue than Madara's one. It'd be the same shade, but it wouldn't be as big as the Ten Tails, of course. The Ten Tails would still be revived, just with a little bit of Kinkaku and Ginkaku. Well, Kinkaku and Ginkaku's bodies and a little, just that one the one tentacle of the Eight Tails. Now, of course, Naruto and Team 7 would reunite for the first time, and Sai would still be part of it. And pretty much here on out, the fight against Madara would be quite easy. Well, Obito would easily be defeated, Jubito as well, and he would turn good. And anyway, once we would skip to the part where Naruto pretty much dies and meets Hagoromo, same as Sasuke, and then Naruto would get a massive power boost, actually unlocking the Rinnegan as well. As the Rinnegan, his prowess wasn't given by the Sage of Six Paths. The Sage of Six Paths would still give him pretty much Archer's powers or the Sun Seal, whereas Sasuke would get the whole Sage of Six Paths eye prowess, and Naruto would get his actual chakra and powers and everything. But still, Naruto would unlock the Rinne Sharingan because of his just immense amount of potential. And the Six Path Sage would or the Six Paths chakra that Hagoromo gave, he gave a tiny little bit more to Naruto, unlocking his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Not unlocking his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but unlocking his Rinnegan. And of course, this wouldn't be permanent. He tells Naruto that his Rinnegan won't be permanent unless he gets the eternal Mangekyo. And Naruto understands, and he goes back to the war. Now, his Rinnegan would run out within the time that he fights Madara, and the third Hokage, who's still alive, would tell Naruto that there is one last thing I want to give you, Naruto. Catch. Naruto opens the scroll and sees his father's eyes. He cries a little bit and takes out his own and pretty much crushes these ones and puts in his father's ones. He crushed his own eyes, realizing that these eyes could be used for the bad, to cause pain to others, so he crushed them, as he knows how much power those eyes contain. Naruto crushed the eyes that he actually went throughout his life, but he opens his eyes and sees the world in a whole different way. Sakura would heal his eyes, as Naruto wouldn't have much of healing powers like Sakura, but he would still, because he hasn't tried it yet and he wasn't sure of it, and Sakura just went into intervene straight away. Now, once he opened his eyes, his Sharingan, one of his Sharingan turned into the Rinne Sharingan, and pretty much his ability was pretty much to stop time for a second or so. I'll say 2 seconds, that's all. This is all Naruto needed to pretty much take down Madara, but then Madara was betrayed and Kaguya would arrive. Naruto's eyes would be hurting, but his immense amount of chakra and Kurama healing him at the same time would be enough for his eyes to go back to normal and not hurt as much. Now, Obito would still return the eye, and basically Naruto would do the same thing that he does in every What If of Mine, pretty much regenerate everyone's eyes. And DMS Sasuke and DMS Obito would still be there, and together they would create a Susanoo which would actually catch Kaguya off guard. Sakura would still punch her in the head. Sasuke actually was about to, well, he actually uses a Chidori on Kaguya, sending her right to Naruto, and Kaguya was back on her own 2 feet, and she was ready for Naruto's attack, and the rest were looking at Naruto. Naruto smiles, and basically once he looks at Kaguya, he creates a katana out of his one of his true seeking orbs, and adds a ball release to himself with the Kurama's chakra and everything. And then with his Rinnegan, he stops time for 2 seconds. By the time time returned, Naruto was already behind Kaguya at this point with her head on the ground. Kaguya's body would actually disappear, steam away for some reason, but then Naruto's hand would start steaming. Naruto would see a mark on his hand. He wouldn't understand what it is, but thanks to his universal understanding, he just opens a portal and tells everyone to get out, as they have to return to the real world. This world is collapsing. Just that one dimension, not all the dimensions. Now, once they actually got out, the Sage of Six Paths would tell them to actually use the rat sign to release the infinite Tsukuyomi, but Sasuke would still challenge Naruto. Naruto here would actually destroy Sasuke in a fight, as he has way more chakra, he has the Sharingan and everything, and pretty much his time stopping ability gave him a massive advantage, and Sasuke wasn't able to steal Naruto's chakra in the last little fist fight, and right before their final attacks on each other, losing their arms. Here, Naruto was able to stop Sasuke, as he then created a Rasengan. As Sasuke was actually trying to steal his chakra, Naruto stole the chakra from Sasuke, the low chakra he had remaining, which would help him create a Rasengan. He would smash it into Sasuke's chest, and Sasuke would go flying. Luckily, it didn't actually kill Sasuke. Sasuke was just injured, and Sakura would arrive, as Naruto was just sitting next to Sasuke, and Sasuke was on the ground looking at the sky. Sakura would heal him, and pretty much they would both do the right hand side. They would both have their dominant hands remaining. And anywho, now Obito would still survive and everything, and he would become the Shadow Kage. He would be let out of jail, as all the shinobi, all the Kage saw Obito fight for Naruto and even save Naruto, which would actually technically save the whole entire shinobi world. And anywho, now, of course, that's what I'm going to end off. Hope you'll enjoy it. Please take care, stay safe. This was the King of Weebs there, and I actually enjoyed making this What If a lot. And remember, Jiraiya is still alive, so he actually gets to see, Naruto become Hokage eventually, marrying Hinata, having kids, Boruto and Himawari, those kids being so overpowered that Naruto would actually train in using his Karma Seal, as the Sage of Six Paths would visit him in one of his dreams one day a few years after, right before Naruto the Lost, and tell him about his Karma Seal and how this can actually help him in the future. It doesn't tell him how, as he kinda knows the future, but he doesn't want to say yet. He disappears, and Naruto says, "Alright then, it's time to train even harder than before." As he says that, that's where we come to an end of the tale of Madara's grandson. One last thing that I wanted to mention: when Madara was actually dying, not only did Hashirama say his goodbyes to Madara, but also Naruto, and Madara tells him to take his eyes and give them to his children when they need them. Of course, Naruto says no, it's fine, and Madara insists. So he takes them and puts them in a jar and seals them away until the day arrives. Madara would actually caress Naruto's hair, saying that they're just like his grandmother and his father. As a tear would still fall out, a tear of blood, but Naruto would wipe it away and telling him, "Rest in peace, Grandpa." And Madara would finally be reunited with Mina, Minako. I kind of forgot her name. And anyway, now Minako, I think I'll say Minako. Um, anyway, that's where I'm gonna end off. Hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe. There's also can be there and peace. And Darklings, you're dismissed. Stay safe out there.